Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's wind down session with Cynthia Newell. I hope that you have had a wonderful day and that you are ready to wind down and release the day and prepare for some sweet, sacred rest. I was thinking about today FOMO, fear of missing out, and how that keeps our head on a swivel. So I just want to encourage us to shut the devices off. A few days ago, I decided to do this, just turn my phone off. And the people that need to reach me, they know my house number. But it was such a relief not to have to be on or interrupted because of my phone lighting up. Now I have maybe about 7 text messages that I haven't read yet because it keeps you going. It keeps me going. Because most text messages that we get, it's a question, it's a response to something we may have asked earlier, it's a thought to consider, or it's just information to share. There may be a follow-up, but I found that most of them are just things to do, things to take you out of what you're doing to focus on something else. And we deserve to give ourselves that time to not be on, to not be on. And sometimes if you're a parent or you're a grandparent, you can feel uncomfortable doing this because it's like, well, what if something happens to one of my children and they need to reach me? Or what if something happens to a family member and they need to get a hold of me and tell me what's going on? I tell you, the information will be there when you come back from unplugging. We have to unplug so that we can be charged. And life is just so filled with things that, if we allow it, will keep us just constantly going, doing, showing up, answering this, thinking about this. A simple question turns into a whole conversation. I had someone text me earlier and say, hey, give me a call when you get off work. And I'm not going to lie, that stressed me out because I don't want to talk to you when I get off work. Like, what makes you think that I want to be on the phone when I get off work? And what makes you think that what you have to say is worth my time? It sounds so cruel, but when we become intentional about the type of day that we want to have, the feelings that we want to experience during the day, and if we think like we don't want to feel exhausted, we don't want to feel overwhelmed, we don't want to feel stretched thin, then sometimes shutting the phone, the devices off is what we need to do in order to get the peace, to get the sanity that we desperately need to be in this world. Like, we have to be able to be alert and vigilant. And if we're always going, doing, answering, or interrupted by these devices, then there's never really a moment for us to get planted. There's never a moment for us to get stable in our thoughts. Like, it's not a good feeling. And so tonight, there's no need to have a fear of missing out on anything. Anything that is for us will get to us when we need to get the information. I remember back in 2019, this movie had come out, August Rush, and I was excited to see that it had come out on DVD. And so I was excited to see the movie. I went to Target and I bought the DVD. It was a Friday night. And I told my daughters, we have a movie night. I got us all the the snacks, we got our popcorn and all the things, and I decided to shut my phone off. I was like, I don't want to be disturbed. I was intentional about it. I just, whatever messages I need to get, I'll just get them in the morning. And that next morning, when I turned on my phone just was constantly going off. And that was an experience where I had lost a cousin. She hadn't passed away yet at that time, but she was hit by a car. So she went to pick up her cousin, her other cousin, and she forgot that her purse was on top of the car. So she pulled over to get her purse off of the top of the car. This driver sped by and hit her and kept going. And so the phone calls that I was getting that Friday was to inform me about what had occurred with her. I wasn't in this mind space. And I'm sharing this story just to say that God has us on every front. So there's no need to feel guilty about our need to unplug so that we can recharge. But had I received that call that Friday, I would not have been mentally capable to handle that type of news and, what was coming next. But that morning when I woke up after having a really nice time with my daughters, feeling good as a mother, for making me and them a priority, I was able to handle the phone calls with much more peace. I was able to have the conversations and take the information because I was rested. And I believe that it was set up that way. A lot of times in the world, we are encouraged to always stay plugged in so we don't miss out on things. Keep your phone, your emails on so you can get the deals, and keep your social media, notifications on so you can know who's going live and what they're talking about. And it just goes on and on and on and on. But there comes a point where we have to choose ourselves and say, you know what? I'm going to unplug and I'm going to allow myself to recharge, and anything that I need to be made aware of, it'll get to me at the appointed time. And so as we are just thinking about what we talked about in the last session of having a good recipe, having a recipe for a good day, having the ingredients to make our day the best day possible, one that we enjoy and that's digestible. It's not hard on us mentally, spiritually, or physically, but it's easily digestible. Making time for ourselves just to retreat, just to have that solemn moment of silence, of nobody, not having to answer to anyone, just being you and God. It's important to put that in your day. And so as we prepare for rest, look at your day and see, when is that time where it's just me and God time, or it's just my time, and if you can't identify 10, 15 minutes, and I'm not talking about dinner time or the time that you're preparing or the time that you're reading the Bible or the time that you're praying, just time for you. I mean, if you want to do those things in your time, great, but time where you unplug, you don't answer the phone, or you put it on D&D, and you're just like, I'm blocking off this amount of time just for me. Identify that. That's going to help you rest better. It's going to help you be able to process the day better, because it's just like if you are eating and you keep eating and you keep eating and you're so full, you're going to be uncomfortable after a while. You're not going to be able to sit right. You're going to have to lean over. Your stomach's going to start hurting because it's stretching out of position. It's the same way with our minds. We don't want to be so overfed or over consuming that we are uncomfortable mentally and spiritually and emotionally, because there's nothing selfish about carving out some time where it's just you, no phone, no questions answered, no problem solved for anybody. No, this is my time. And so I just want to encourage us to make sure that we're doing that. As we're going through this process of elevation, along with elevation is elimination. And we have to release the things that are weighing us down. And so as you're preparing for rest tonight, think about those things. What is weighing on me mentally, emotionally, socially, physically, financially? And how can I be proactive in my life where I give myself time to process my life, to hear from God, to disconnect, to unplug so that I can move forward powerfully and strategically? And so we deserve to wake up to a life that we love, and we have to be very interactive in our life to make sure that we're creating that. And so I hope that as you rest tonight, you are able to, before you go to sleep, you can pinpoint some times or, throughout your day that you can carve out for yourself, because you deserve it. Your brain deserves it. Your heart deserves it. Things may not be going on in your personal world, but energetically, with the world being the way it is, it affects us. So you need time just to relax from that, the energies that are in the atmosphere. So I hope that this has been a blessing for you and that you have sweet dreams tonight.